This is Power Hour, 3:21 to 4. I get home from work early today.
Order filled.
I get short twos. There's what looks like an iceberg at 1.
Order filled.
1 is high of day, end of the profile. I think there's an iceberg there. It's about 300 on the ask. Tape is real slow. 322. People hedge out.
Order filled.
Short twos. Short twos. What I think is an iceberg is at 1. Sell delta hitting into twos. I've seen this pattern on the tape before where it'll just hold a 1 to 2 tick ask spread and won't go anywhere.
10 sell.
When that happens, I don't make any money, so
19 buy.
I'm just listening to tape. Size is increasing here. I think there's less algorithmic participation and more
39 buy.
standard order flow. Even though the tape is exploding on the buy side, if you can hear it, large non-cumulative orders are hitting it. I think we're just gonna hang out here.
Ten sell. Five buy. 5 sell. Nine buy. Five buy. 5 buy. 7 sell. 4 sell. 4 buy. 7 buy. 8 buy. Order filled.
There's a lot of flow here, but not a lot of action. Okay, I get long threes, trying to hit into twos. Iceberg at ones. Just playing the cue here, seeing if I can get it to lift. She's quiet. I throw my scratch in and get out for break even. After I do that, the offer lifts. I don't have any time to go back and look at it, but I would have won the trade had I kept it on, so it was technically a missed opportunity. You can document that, that's fine, but I don't know, I'm not sure how the information is going to come in useful, but you can sort through it later. There's buy delta here, we're buying, there's buy delta. Price is trading twos, 260s on the ask at 1, which is the Berg. Some large non-cumulative orders hit the tape here. Bid tape speeds up, buy delta really shows up here, and they can't
Eight.
lift it. It's not a spoof. It looks like real orders. Like I said, an iceberg. Looks like 200 has been absorbed now. 110 actually.
4, 5, 6, 5.
Lots of meta order buying here on the buy side.
5, 5.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, just a bunch of large orders. I sell it too preemptively. My order's in for 2 lots. I've seen this iceberg happen maybe 2 other times on 2 separate days at high of day. I don't know who does it or why or what's going on.
5, 5.
But I think if I really believe I'm going to win the trade, why don't you put some size on? Even if I lost it, I don't regret putting it on. I've seen the berg happen before in a short term, from a short-term cognitive memory perspective. After I put my 2 shorts on, it actually starts to lift. The offer starts to pull down from 260 down to 130, and the bid is stacked to 220. So I really think I made a big mistake here. Do I regret putting on 2 contracts instead of 1
5, 5.
on a pattern I had previously seen, combined with tape, both large orders and
6,
delta,
sell.
buy delta being absorbed?
5, sell.
No,
4,
I don't.
9, sell.
This is power hour, so it's slower, and the mechanics of the market are different, and I've never traded power hour before. I did what I thought was right, and I apologize for nothing. But I haven't been stopped out yet. The bid queue that was hitting into this berg at 1. The bid queue that was lifting into this berg at 1 shot up to 260, then back down to 60 and cleared. And now prices rotated in my favor, and there's sell delta hitting now instead of buy delta, and the bid at 3 is responding, meaning they are pulling their orders in the face of the ask, stacking theirs, and it's a moderate queue size. It's
10,
not anything
sell.
crazy. Now the ask hits 180, stuffed at 2s. A lot of sell pressure on the delta as well. Persisting, hasn't been absorbed or stopped. Pitch, the delta, which
10,
determines the price at where the delta is traded, has remained relatively the same, and there was a solid amount of non-cumulative sell orders hitting the tape as well. I won that trade. It was probably the best trade of the day. We're going to fast forward here. I'm going to be here all day. We're at 3s now, which is VPOC. I'll try to get short 4s. Sell delta again. We've broken out of the 1 to 3 range, and we're in a low volume node here. If this was the cash session, I would go for a fade trade from 4 up to 2, back towards the high of day where the berg was for about a tick. The consistent delta selling makes me think that's not what's going to happen. I believe I also watched to see if there was initiative buying on the big queue to push price back into the little value area we were in, and it didn't exist. Now ask delta sellers are hitting again on the tape. The delta, I mean, and there's moderate prints on the non-cumulative tape. I scratch my short at 4 because the ask gets absorbed. I'm most likely thinking about how slower and more, sort of institutional the tape is during power hour. Sort of not to be as, so it's just different conditions. But then I flip long, and I flip long there and scratch, and then I flip long again and scratch. Could I have given it some more room to breathe? Maybe. Then I get short on them not being able to lift 3s. That's the that's my thought process there, is that we were in a good area for buyers to step in
Order filled.
and push it back into the node, and they didn't really have the
5,
gust for it. So I flip short
sell.
fours again on the buyers not on the
4,
bid not
sell.
being able to lift the offer at 3. There's 220 stacked on the offer at 3. Yeah, so but if I miss a trade because I scratched too early, that's a trade I technically lost an opportunity. Though I was kind of harping myself on that, but realistically, I'd rather scratch 1,000 trades than and miss opportunity than lose money. You know what I mean? At least one, because one damages my bankroll. I was short fours, still kind of hesitant, and I was short fours. I scratched, even though there was no initiative buying. I get short fours again, also on partially on buy delta buyers on delta showing up again and being absorbed by the ask of 200 at 3, which is VPOC of volume point of control of this smaller area that we've been bracketing in. And then I eventually scratch that one as the Q disappears. There's not a lot of directional volume regarding 2-tick movements here, which is what I need to make money. So it's scratch
9,
city.
17, sell.
And then buyers kick in at 4 and they start hitting into they start lifting into 3s. They lift 3s. And then ask delta shows up. They hit 3s. Just an auction between 4 and 2 now. They can't lift 2, so we're still bracketing between 4 and 2.
5, sell. 14, sell.
Long 4s on I get long 4s, value area low.
5, sell.
The ask to me looks a bit fake.
14, sell.
I'm not really I'm not really 100% strong on why I put this long 4s trade on preemptively and before flow, especially because buy delta buyers, they were being absorbed as price moved lower. The moment I got long, I threw my scratch in, which is kind of a funny sign of conviction that I was really just putting it on to put it on. Now I'm contemplating pulling the order because there's a certain type of behavior that's rewarded in faster markets and towards power hour, which I've never traded
36,
before.
5.
Today there just wasn't enough directional volatility to push me in. I pulled my scratch and I let the buyers hit the tape. Bid delta's going off and they're lifting. Looks like a spread of meta orders or larger non-cumulative orders here. I throw my scratch and when the bid stacks to 150 at 4 and I'm looking for a turn, the ask gets down to 30 and I don't even think it
4,
pulls.
sell.
Typically during the cash open, if the ask got down to 30, it would probably pull, but here it restacks to 120.
4, sell.
2 minutes later, they eventually hit me out for a scratch.
5, 4, sell. 5, 4, sell. 4, 5.
like I said before, we've sat between this 2 and 4 range.
4 sell.
I'm waiting for 350.
Sell.
I pull my
6
orders and
sell.
I'm watching the
5
time. It's
sell.
3:49 p.m. I think a bunch of bucket orders are going to hit at 5. And I don't want to be in the
4
market
sell.
when the buckets hit. I want to be in the market to clean up after they show
4
up.
sell. 6
Basket orders, not bucket orders. Speed of tape
5
increases,
sell. 4
not the
sell.
delta. I'm just going to call them meta orders or
4
delta
5
tape, whatever. Big orders. Big trades. Big trades. I'm calling them big trades. I think I'm chasing a long here. Most likely mean reversion. I pull the order here when I see that it's 349 because I'm not sure what's going to happen at 350. I'm going to turn the volume down.
14
350 hits.
13
These basket orders hit.
28
And
5
price jumps 3 ticks in 5 seconds.
9
My
10
Order
immediate
fill.
idea is to, I have to pause it because it's so loud. My immediate idea, big trades tape is exploding everywhere. My immediate idea is to hit the iceberg at 329. So I misread it and I get short twos thinking the berg is at 1 when in reality I believe it's at 0.
sell.
And it seems to be working because I get short and the ask queue stuffs to 82 and I can hear the bid delta going off in my ear aggressively as they continue to hit. But the offer, I don't think it lifts, but the bid doesn't hit, I don't think. It doesn't move lower. I get out for a scratch.
6 sell. 6 sell. 7 sell. 5 sell. 9 sell.
I get long twos here,
8
and it's very strange order flow compared to the morning. I'm going to stop comparing to the morning. I get long twos on the bid delta. Tape is mixed now. Big trades is mixed, but buy delta's blowing up in my ear.
13
Still there. It's quieted down now.
5
Ask delta hits now. I'm contemplating putting my scratch in, leaving it, but the ask is stacked to 100 and the bid is stacked to 90. The buy delta is gone now. Ask delta is hitting now. So, it doesn't matter what I think. I can't get out of the trade anyways. Buy delta hits again here. Keep in mind we're at volume point of control. The berg is at 0, I believe. The ask gets down to 30, twos, and then it stacks up to 160, and ask delta hits, and I believe they clear me out at 3s here for a loss. I say that there would be, I believe there would be exaggerated momentum in the open, but then ask delta quiets up and the bid just sits there, and then it populates to 120. Now the ask is 214 at 2. Bid is 17. They clear me out here for sure. Yeah. So I ended up losing the trade. It was a breakout trade, and the reason for my entry, I was contemplating when I was pulling the order. Should I be in it? Should I not be in it? The reason for my entry was a breakout. The tape disappeared after the basket orders hit. There was no breakout tape. They didn't give me an opportunity to scratch ever. But so all I can control is pulling and placing my scratches. Regarding the pulling of the scratch, what should have happened was just me leaving my scratch in and letting the trade work against me and taking a loss instead of contemplating pulling it. Though there was an instance there where buy delta was hitting again, and I thought we were going to turn. That's why I pulled my scratch. It's not a bad reason to do it, but given the context, I got in because of breakouts. Breakouts came from basket orders. They covered the distribution to the other side from the value area low at 4 all the way up into 1. Basket orders stopped, order flow normalized, and we went back into a mean reverting environment. So the pulling of the scratch that I initially mentioned, though delta was there, the conditions had already changed rapidly. They had normalized. that I should have left the scratch in, even though it wouldn't have made a
5.
difference. I'm short. I'm trying to get short threes now. I'm chasing momentum short fours, which is the value area low,
5
to the
sell.
Order
tick.
filled.
I get filled here. Ask delta is hitting. I think I get whipsawed. It looks like I get whipsawed here. I do. I get whipsawed. 353 more meta orders hit. I have to go back and see why I put that short on.
Eight sell. 5 sell. 5 sell. 5 buy. 5.
I think it's because the ask, I mean the bid was stacked to 250 at 4, which makes it look fake, but the queue is slower in power hour, so I take a preemptive short at 4. Delta follows through temporarily.
7 buy.
They
14.
immediately turn against me at 353.
5 buy.
Institutional
4
flow, ton of big
9
buys.
sell.
Buy delta exploding.
8 sell.
Watching the
8
berg at 379. Just keeping my head here and not letting everything get
18
to me.
sell.
Just watching tape. I can hear buyers hitting aggressively and not getting anywhere. We're at 2 hive days 1. I believe there's a berg at 1. I said it was at 0, but it looks like there's 1 at
10
1 now, which is hive day period. It's the end of the profile.
4
She goes quiet now.
5 6
The buy delta, large trade orders still there, but less of them, and they're on the aggregated tape and not the non-cumulative. They're buy orders. And then buy delta shows up again. Now keep in mind I'm short 2s.
143.
The iceberg is, keep in mind I'm short 2s. The iceberg is at 1. 145 trades on the ask. Somebody market sells 145. I think the ask is going to bail me out in the face of the berg, and I was wrong. Somebody twops a meta order. I know it's a meta order because, you know, it's 40, 27, 31, 32, 23, and 10. They're all buy orders, and they all hit at the same time. So that is a meta order from an institution who's hedging out, and they hit 2s. Like I said, the berg was at 1 and potentially 0, but it
11
looks, it's almost certainly at 1. The berg was at 1.
10
I pull my ask here. I pull my scratch, I mean. I put it back in. Bid delta, buy delta is hitting heavy now. The bid stack
Recentered.
they clear ones. The initial berg. I hit a breakout trade here. I flip long ones.
8 sell.
Because the delta is not going away. The tape is a bit
10
quieter now, but the delta's still there. The moment I said the tape is quiet now, a bunch of big trades hit on the buy side.
10
I'm contemplating scratching, but I accept that power hour is a bit slower and more thicker than the open here, so I'm playing by that. They don't give me an opportunity to
Recentered.
scratch anyways. And then I believe I put it in at the last second and they hit me out for a scratch. So I was long and I scratched it.
8
Recentered.
I believe momentum picks up here at 1 and they actually clear zeros.
10
Order filled.
You simply have to learn. That's the only way. Just have to make mistakes and learn. That's what I'm
8
doing here. I've never traded power hour. I get short ones. Tape's quiet. I think the berg's at 0. I'm like, well, the berg is right there because it's a 300 lot on the ask. Berg is an iceberg order. Delta on the ask, hitting now. Big trades are quiet. Really kind of lacks initiative selling here on the counter rotation.
10 sell.
tried to let it breathe here. They don't want to have anything to do with it. The bid begins to stack. I think, yeah, I throw my scratch in when the bid hits 40, which is an alright level to throw a scratch in. Because the counter rotation failed. I'm contemplating pulling it, but it doesn't make a difference here because the bid stacks to 136. I'm coming to grips with my iceberg melting here because it was at 300, it's at 230 right
14.
now. Meta orders hit again on the bid. The bid stacks and response
10.
as well. No buy delta as well, which is worse because that means it's driven by real price changing flow and not either a machine gun order, which is what I thought the delta was, and it still might be, or just speculators coming in. So it's somebody
9.
moving size here into my berg, which, you know, bergs are from institutions. If anybody's going to move a berg, it's another institution. So I end up getting sawed here a great
8.
deal. I lose that
75. 75.
170 trades on the bid. Buy delta here again. So really important for this is just context, really, is what matters.
Sell.
10.
Sell.
Buy delta gone. Zeros high of day. Ask delta hitting now.
Sell.
Contemplating a short. Mean
10.
reversion. You know, after unidirectional move, mean reversion. It's 357. There are 3
12.
minutes until the close. Most likely there's going to be a lot of institutional flow here. That in hindsight doesn't necessitate the reversion to the smaller little profile I was trying to make markets in for the past 30 minutes, but more so price expansion in one direction, as what's most likely options dealers are forced to drive price up in the futures in order to hedge their inventory for overnight exposure. Which makes sense given the flow so far that we cleared one iceberg, we came off from 4, the basket order hit at 5 to 0, which looks like 6 ticks is a low volume node, 4 to 1 is the HVN I was trading for today, 0 is the high of day. It's consistent buy delta co-opted with a slow but thick and not spoofy bid that is stacking. Also the same reluctant to ask, so it's very, very heavy flow driven market conditions, which is, you know, great if that was how the Nasdaq behaved the whole time, but it doesn't. I like it nonetheless because I'm learning, and when I'm going to make money, I'm going to make lots of money when I learn, because I learn more and then I make more money. I'm going to make tons and tons of money very soon. It's going to be crazy. Okay, I'm chasing long here at zeros. I kind of understand the game now. There's no buy delta here. Meta orders hitting on the cumulative tape.
8.
Little sell orders. Buy delta hits again. Meta orders hitting here on the ask side. Bid delta. I'm hesitant to throw a scratch in. I'm still listening for that
10.
flow and the slow tape. I kind of understand what's going on here now. Meta orders hit now. Non-cumulative bid side and cumulative bid side. Bid stacks to 140 at 0. I throw my scratch in,
10.
which is a zealous time to throw your scratch in after the trade is 200 contracts in your favor.
10.
Ask spoofs to 170 and then they pull down to 80, which tells me I'm on the winning side of the trade.
15.
Buy delta
13.
hits for a little bit and I win the trade. I'm most
12.
likely going to chase 9s here. I believe I make some execution errors and pull my orders because I think the market is slow enough that I don't have to put in these strange limits that sit above
8,
price
sell.
and have them run into me to fill me, but that's not the case. Ask Delta is hitting here and the tape is mixed. Spoos has been at value for the majority of the session by the looks of it, 359. So the next 2 minutes is going to have a lot of flow in some direction for sure as people close. 5. Also tell me in the transcript and not in the transcript. It has to be in the transcript so you can source from it later. I think that a lot of this is ODTE or just options driven hedging in general, where people come into the futures. You need to give me the order flow composition of why people move markets in the NASDAQ, why power hour matters, who's actually moving price here. It was very, very strange to watch this unidirectional price action move up on a quiet queue, not necessarily assisted by tape, but more so very consistent, slow, really not very many pullbacks or spoofs. The strange reoccurring long and persistent but not faded delta, which leads me to believe that it was more likely to be a machine gun order or firms disguising or spreading their orders, as retailers, spreading their orders out with a market time weighted average price in order to get a good fill. I want to know who does this and why, and I almost certainly know that there's either an edge in knowing the condition of the intraday market relative to options in the SPOOs, if not the NASDAQ,
Order
because I've seen
filled.
people use it. I'm long 9s.
Recentered. 10.
There's 250 on the ask. No buy delta yet. Tape is fast. Tape, not the delta, the tape. A lot of buyers on cumulative and non-cumulative. I throw in my scratch at 9. The bid stacks to 132. The ask isn't really
10.
lifting though. Now
Recentered.
it pulls from, lift isn't the right word. It technically is lifting, but it pulls from 290 to 180 here. There's 300 on the bid, so I kind of
10,
understand
sell.
the game now. The moment I say that, we go from 300 on the bid to 11, and I take a scratch,
10.
which confuses me, but I still think we're going to push up because of how the bid queue is behaving. I'm looking for a long. There's buy delta in my
8.
ear chirping higher. Lack of initiative buying on the tape at 9 though, and the ask turns. A lot of meta order
10,
selling
sell.
now, a tremendous amount,
9.
and delta follows. Long 9s, and I find myself on the wrong side of the trade. There's 400 on the bid. It's 0 for a short term. Then it spoofs down to 270. It's at 350 right now. That a ton of meta orders hit. From the bid side, somebody twopped like 170 bid.
28
They just
sell.
keep twopping bids. So I think it might be in my favor, but part of me is coping. The ask is stacking aggressively against me, which ultimately is what I value as the primary determining factor, at least in the open session, because limit orders are typically the more informed participant. Algorithms communicate and use limit orders. Retail are price insensitive and oftentimes not informed flow, but heavy market orders are also informed flow, but that matters less in the NASDAQ because of tick size and how thin it is. So like an informed participant in the NASDAQ might just throw limit orders into a really thin book, and get filled that way. So the ultimate determining factor here is pretty much the Q stacking and it not lifting, which is what's happening here. I get long nines. I was looking for a breakout from 8 to 7s, and then I thought what was going to happen, or I kind of read it as this consistent breakout and tape into the close. So I chased another breakout here at 9s, thinking she'd reverse. Realistically, I've never done this before, so I wouldn't know this. Sometimes it pulls back a tick before it rallies for a short movement and during the cash opens. But for price to peak a tick above high of day, to hit somebody out and go back and then manage an institutional auction, and then manage an institutional increased size auction at a previous price area sounds more realistic than some options dealer having to hedge out one of his Greeks and providing passive order flow that drives the entire market up out of the profile range. Though I'm not saying that couldn't happen. That was kind of resting in the back of my head, but it's not what I was thinking about. What we're seeing here now, at least on the tape, is a lot of meta order buys hitting from an institution, and the market doing its job, meaning they're just taking them as liquidity and forming an auction between 9 and 0, and I'm caught in the middle of it on the wrong side. Now the bid stacks to 200, so there is spoofing. 270 and then down to 57. I'm long 9. The bid doesn't hit 0, and I get out with the skin of my teeth for a scratch at 9. I pull my scratch as they hit my scratch, so I wanted to keep the trade on even though I'm not familiar with this type of price action. That was kind of a gambler's move, and I'm glad they hit my scratch out. And I don't know what's going on here. Buy delta in my ear right now, exploding. I'm going to try to make something of it. Tape is cooling down, and the Q has pulled significantly because it's 4 o'clock, so liquidity is leaving the market. It just looks like more market making into the close. Squeeze is offering lower. Having rejected 5s, she sits at 6 now.
10 sell. 10 sell. 10 sell. Recentered. 7 5.
I think I'd probably get burnt here. I put a stale ask in a short at 1, which is a low volume node on sell delta hitting. I hope they don't fill me and I pull the order. I chase a reversion long at 0 here. I put a long in at 0, low volume node at 1, auction between 8 and 0. 8 is high of day. Now tape is really quiet now, and I end the recording because of how quiet tape got and the delta left the marketplace, which was a great trade in itself that I didn't stick around after I immediately recognized that conditions had changed and my opportunity, the reason for trading from 3:20 to 4 o'clock, was gone. That was really good.